Welcome to Films That Time Forgot, a channel where underappreciated cult films are reviewed and analyzed. This is a review of Mark Romanek's 2002 indie horror 1 Hour Photo starring Robin Williams. 1 Hour Photo tells the story of Sy Parrish, a lonely photo lab technician at big box store Savmart. A perfectionist at his job, Sy views his job as an important one and believes what he's doing enriches the lives of others.
When people's houses are on fire, what's the first thing they save after their pets and their loved ones are safe? The family photos. I process these photos as if they were my own.
However, his pride in his work masks a deep-seated loneliness. The sterile, fluorescent white lighting in his workplace and the lack of personal belongings in his home reflect how Sy fades into the background and lacks a rich personal life. Even his position behind the counter highlights how he is hermetically sealed away from even his other coworkers. The tragedy of Sy's commitment to his job is the fact that his customers and coworkers don't really care or seem to notice the attention to detail he puts in his photos. Another inner monologue delivered by Sy explains the importance of photos for documenting one's existence and providing meaning to humans' short time on Earth.
And if these pictures have anything important to say to future generations, it's this. I was here. I existed. I was young. I was happy, and someone cared enough about me in this world to take my picture.
The tragedy of his admission is that Sy himself is not important enough to anyone to have his picture taken. Like Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver or Mark Lewis in Peeping Tom, his voyeurism and interest in the lives of others highlights the fact that he is incapable of forming natural human relationships. While he appears to be harmless in appearance and temperament, this simply allows his later deviant behavior to go unnoticed. We discover that Sy harbors an unnatural obsession with the Yorkin family, who routinely have their photos developed by Sy. He envies what he imagines to be their picture-perfect family life. Even the brownish-orange colors in their home reflect a warmth and sense of stability Sy desperately lacks in his own life. Sy begins to fantasize about being a part of their family to the point of imagining himself as Uncle Sy. He doesn't want to replace the father Mike or steal the wife Nina away. He simply wants to be included. It is implied his fascination with the Yorkins has been going on for several years. He knows the exact age of their child Jake. In his apartment, we see photos dating back to the Yorkins' wedding several years before. While his behavior is creepy and invasive, we are forced to sympathize with him because the entire film is filtered through Sy's point of view. Extensive voiceover allows access to the deepest recesses of his mind.
People take pictures of the happy moments in their lives. Someone looking through our photo album would conclude that we had led a joyous, leisurely existence, free of tragedy.
His constant efforts to get close to the family are constantly rebuked. When he tries to make conversation with either Nina or Jake, they barely seem to notice him and politely respond with indifference. This causes him to become more and more reckless. He studies their behavior more closely, noting the book Nina is reading so he can start a conversation about it later. He even parks outside their home when he knows they'll be on vacation. This particular scene is extremely unsettling and wrought with tension. We are relieved to learn it is simply one of Sy's fantasies. He has a particular affection for the child Jake. He even goes to his soccer game and buys him an Evangelion toy his father refused to buy for him earlier. Sy's mental deterioration is expedited by two factors: The first is losing his job for developing photos of the Yorkins for personal use. The fact that he won't be able to live vicariously through them anymore devastates him because their pictures provide meaning to his empty existence. The second is discovering patriarch Michael Yorkin is cheating on his wife when he develops his mistress's film. His faith in humanity was glued together by this idea that the Yorkins represented the perfect suburban existence he craved. He is angered that Michael could take what he has for granted and seeks revenge. Sy slips the photos into a roll of film he was developing for Nina so she'll discover the infidelity. However, she does not confront Mike because she wants to keep the family together for Jake's sake. This begins Sy's final breakdown and descent into madness. Sy threatens his old boss with pictures of his child. The police become involved and discover the photo wall of the Yorkins at his home. This leads us to the climax of the film, where Sy holds Michael Yorkin and the mistress captive in their hotel room and forces them to simulate various sex acts at knife point, while he photographs them. Sy's escape is thwarted by the police. During his interrogation, we discover the source of his trauma, sexual abuse at the hands of his father, who photographed the entire thing.
You would never take disgusting, sick, degrading pictures of your children doing these things.
Sy's interest in photography and dedication to giving his customers quality prints is a way of righting the wrong of what was done to him as a child. Sy was denied this happiness and wants to give this gift to others. However, it was not enough, and losing his job threatened the only solace he had, bringing that past trauma to light again. By humiliating Michael Yorkin and his mistress, he is getting revenge on his own father, who abused him as a child. Only we discover the photos of Sy weren't taken of Michael Yorkin and his mistress, but of everyday household objects, which brings us back to the earlier quote.
No one ever takes a photograph of something they want to forget.
Like Jake, Sy is a child of mentality. Stunted by the abuse he suffered and without the ability to live through the Yorkins anymore, these pictures are all he has as the film concludes. While director Mark Romanek and cinematographer Jeff Cronenworth do great work here, telling a simple but effective story with subtle lighting and controlled camera movements, it is the late great Robin Williams' dedicated performance that makes this film a success. As he proved in his other films, Good Will Hunting and Insomnia, Williams had an ability to use his comedic persona and affable demeanor as a way of subverting expectations in these more dramatic roles. No one knows how much of his own pain and inner demons fueled the character of Sy Parrish, but it's undeniable that Robin Williams committed to this role and delivered what I believe to be his greatest performance. All in all, this is a film about the importance photos play in documenting our lives and how we perceive our past. It proves that no picture, however perfect and happy it appears to be, can hide or erase the darkness surrounding our lives. With the rise of social media playing a prominent role in how we relate to other people, this film has become more relevant than ever. People often project an idealized version of their lives through photos on the internet. We tend to measure our self-worth by how often others view and comment on our photos. I give 1 Hour Photo a 9 out of 10. This concludes my review of 1 Hour Photo. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to Films That Time Forgot for more content.